I'm happy to be joined today by the U.S. Senator of Massachusetts, Ed Markey. Senator Markey, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, Karim.
So, Senator, the last time you and I spoke, it was mid-March, right around the CARES Act being implemented. And you were gracious enough to reach out to me, and we had a great dialogue around the CARES Act and how it impacted Black and brown communities, especially small business owners. Let's start off by kind of going back to that conversation. Do you think the CARES Act was a success when you look back at it? And if it was, what changes could be made to make it more successful going forward?
Yeah, when we were talking back then, Karim, we were having a conversation about smaller Black-owned businesses, smaller women-owned businesses, smaller minority businesses generally. Were they going to be treated fairly? Were they going to be treated equitably? And even back then, when I was asking questions of Secretary of Treasury Mnuchin or the head of the Small Business Administration about what percentage of the loans were going to minority-owned, women-owned businesses, they did not have the statistics. So it was pretty clear that it was an afterthought. There really was no focus on it, even though we knew that it could be an extinction experience for smaller minority-owned businesses if they didn't get the help which they needed. So that's why I worked hard to make sure that $60 billion would be set aside for minority and women-owned smaller businesses, so that there would be a special pile of money set aside, guaranteed. And that was something that we had to rectify on the run. And they also, unfortunately, they weren't putting it into the many languages that are spoken in the United States. That made it even harder for some of the minority businesses to be able to penetrate sometimes the so complex that it's impossible to understand without a team of accountants and lawyers language that is built in there. So since the business category was 500 employees and less, well, a 500-person small business has lawyers, accountants. A 10-person small business, a 20-person small business, they're at a competitive disadvantage in qualifying for the funding. So from my perspective, initial rollout, not great. We fought hard to improve it so that the funding would be there. And we also kind of modified the requirements so it was clear that it was going to be easier to meet the standards for qualification. In fact, just this week, we have actually extended the program out from July 1st out to August 8th, so that, and there are billions of dollars still available for smaller businesses that want to qualify. And again, my office would be more than happy to work with anyone who is going to be listening to this to help them to navigate through the labyrinthian passageways of the bureaucracy of the Small Business Administration. We want to help you to do that. And so we also believe that August 8th is not long enough, that we should extend out this program until the end of the year. Because it's pretty obvious that Donald Trump and his advisors are not really putting in place the programs to control the coronavirus. And ultimately, it's going to be consumer confidence that has to be reinforced if people are going to feel capable of going into small businesses again. And we just don't have that still in our community. So from my perspective, we worked hard to make it better. We've extended it. We want to make it easy for people, and we want to convert it all over into grants. Grants, not loans, so that the small businesses know that they won't have to pay it back. They can use it for their rent, they can use it for their mortgage, they can use it for the payment of their employees, but ultimately they will not be required to pay it back. And that's what I am going to be fighting for in order to make sure that those programs are there for the community.